What's up, YouTube, and welcome to my pickups video for the month of April 2020. What can I say? It was a pretty weird month. Obviously, I've been shut in at home like most of you, so didn't really get a lot of travel in, as in no travel in, and not a lot of running around to pick up games. But I did get some stuff online, so we'll show you what few things I got this month. First thing I got is a new arcade board to the collection. So this is a very rare Konami arcade game from 1987 called Fastlane. And I don't think this one's very well known. I found out about it about a year ago when one popped up on eBay, and I bid on it, but I didn't win it. This one I actually picked up from the KLOV forum, which is a great place to buy used arcade boards, from fellow collectors, and went ahead and grabbed this. It's got this very rad Ferrari 328 main character that you play as, and it's an overhead kind of maze chase style game. It's very close to a very early Sega arcade game called Head On, which was from the late 70s, like 1979, so it's a very early Sega release that it kind of is based on, if you've ever played that arcade game. What I liked about this is it's very close to the Atari 2600 game Dodge 'Em, which I played a lot as a kid at a friend's house. So as you see, you have these power-ups that you pick up along the way in the game, and it actually follows a Gradius style power-up meter at the top of the screen. So Konami kind of stuck to some of their already existing graphics that they were using in some of their other titles. But overall, your goal in this game is to paint the maze, or cover all of the ground without getting run into by the Bigfoot knockoff 4x4s that are running around the track. And then, as you probably heard in the demo, there's these girls on roller skates that you pick up along the way, and they giggle as you do so. So, very fun, lighthearted 80s game. It's got just a nice, easy pick-up and play style to it. Probably looked a little bit dated for a 1987 release, so that may have been why this game didn't get very big distribution, but very happy to add this to the collection. So, wanted to give you guys a little preview of this running on my Astro City cabinet, and after the jump cut here, we'll continue on with the console pickups for the month. So I'll see you guys here in just a moment. Alright, so we'll go ahead and continue on with the rest of the pickups. These are all going to be console-related stuff. And so the first one of these you may have already seen if you watched my most recent video about the subset of games that Taito developed for the PS1 that were released in the United States. So this is Cleopatras Fortune, that was a budget release in the US by a company called Mud Duck, and this was actually developed by a company called Ultron, even though the arcade original is a Taito release. So pretty decent puzzle game. I was playing it again today. Easy to pick up and play if you don't expect much, because you can get this game very cheap. It's reasonable, reasonable fun to play. So worth checking out if you want a cheap puzzle game for your PS1. Really, the two things I got online that I'd been looking for this month were two SNK games, and for two different platforms. One of these for Neo Geo Pocket Color and one for the Neo Geo CD. So I am still somewhat going for the full set of all the Neo Geo Pocket Color releases complete in the box, and I got another one of those this month that I've been looking for a while. This one doesn't go for a ton compared to some of the releases, but really been having trouble finding a nice condition copy of this, and this is Neo Geo Cup 98 Plus Color. It has a very long title, because I also think there was a black and white version of this game that came out in Japan first. This is a very deep soccer game, and I was trying to play it the other day and really didn't get too far in it. I'm not really a pro at playing soccer games. I don't typically buy a whole lot of them, so I had to kind of think back to some of my soccer knowledge from a kid, when I was a kid and playing soccer, or football, if you will, for my European fans on the page. So, very deep game. It has almost like a full RPG mode where you buy a lot of equipment, and you really have to level up your characters and pay attention to the strengths of the opposing team. Even the pick up and play mode is still pretty deep as far as some of the things that it lets you manage, as far as what teams you play against and what types of attributes you want your character to have. I think this game would be great to play on a long trip if you really had time to dive into it. The only thing I really noticed about it is your characters move pretty slow. And I think it's almost just because they were trying to include so much detail in the graphics of the game for the actual play field, that the speed of the game took a hit. So it's kind of my only knock on it, but is a nice release for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. This system just doesn't have a whole lot of games that came out in the US, but the hit-to-miss ratio is actually pretty high. So I would say if you like sports games and you want one for the portable system, this is a decent one to play. The next one I got is a Neo Geo CD release. This was one I've been looking for ever since I got my system a few months ago. This one is one of the pricier games for the system, but after playing the arcade version of this, I really wanted this in my collection, and that is Neo Drift Out. If you like top-down racers, this is among one of the best, and I just really like that style of game. I've always appreciated things like RC Pro-Am, but this is really taking it to a new level with some nice rally-style gameplay. It's funny because there's already another top-down rally racing game by a different company on the system called Thrash Rally, but this one is definitely a cut above by Visco. So overall, the game length is not that long. Clearly, it was based on an arcade game. They really didn't add anything to the CD release to boost the home version. Maybe some different music that CD games typically have. But I can see why this game is so popular, and it's definitely a welcome addition to my collection. Ultimately, there was 3 other arcade releases in this series before this one came out on Neo Geo that just came out on standard JAMMA hardware. So I may look into getting some of those in the future. I'm not sure if they're as good as this one. I think this is one is really considered the best in the series. And also just really like the artwork on the cover with that classic Toyota Celica rally car from the mid-90s. So it also has the playable Subaru Impreza WRX, as well as the Mitsubishi Lancer. I think it was like the Evo 5 at that point, maybe Evo 6. But definitely could recommend this if you have a Neo Geo CD, if you can find it. It took me a while to get this game, and kind of was happy to move forward getting this, even though it was a pretty expensive game to get for the collection. So then the next thing I got is not a game at all, but something I would highly recommend for gamers that are looking to deal with some of the power bricks on some of the classic systems like NES and Genesis and things like that. And I actually found this at my local Home Depot. This is just a simple little electric plug adapter. I've been using a similar solution to this in the past, which is like a little dongle that you add on to the power brick that then connects into a power strip and enables you to not have the power brick blocking all the ports on the power strip. This actually takes that a step farther. So what you do with this one is you would plug your power brick into this end of it. You would plug it into this end of it, which gives you a little bit of an extension. So it's got a plug there. You plug this end into your power strip, but then you don't even lose that hole on the power strip. You can plug a separate device with a standard plug into this end of it. So essentially you're getting 2 plug-in items into one single plug without using up any extra real estate. So this would be really handy if you wanted to plug, say, your Sega Genesis into this end with the big power brick, and then plug just your TV or receiver into the standard plug, and then just have just that one side going into the power strip. So really can recommend these. I don't know what the technical term is for this, but if you go to Home Depot, you'll see a big bin full of them with some of the extra like extension cords and things like that they carry. I think it was like $2 or $3. It's not expensive at all, and I bought a couple of them. Just thinking about future use, I think this would be something to always keep very handy for some of the classic systems. So then I got 2 other things this month that weren't games, but they were game related. I got a manual for Batman on the Sega Genesis, the original Sunsoft game that also came out on the NES. And I have had a really nice boxed with cartridge and warranty card copy of this for several years, and just always needed this manual to complete it. So this was a very long journey to get this manual. I don't know why. It doesn't go for a ton of money, but even on eBay, all you'll really see is repro copies of this. So I got this from a video game store that was selling online just due to COVID-19, offering some of their stuff on there, and they had some manuals listed, so I decided to go ahead and grab it. So definitely happy to have that for my Genesis collection. The last thing I got this month is actually a magazine, and if you've been watching my videos, you know I like to collect Game Fan magazines. This was the spin-off magazine to Game Fan called Mega Fan, and it only lasted 3 issues. This is the first of those 3 issues, and it was the last one I needed, and it's a little bit unique because it's not even a standard-sized magazine like the other 2 were. This one is like almost a pocket-sized magazine, so I'm not sure if that comes off across real well in the video, but overall this is a very small magazine with just very small print on the pages to get things to fit on these small pages. The idea, I think, with this was that if you were a little bratty kid and you were supposed to be doing your homework inside school, you could take your Mega Fan magazine, tuck it in the book, and your teacher would never be the wiser. There's even a little illustration in the back of this that shows exactly that deviant behavior. So, not sure if any of you got in trouble for hiding your Mega Fans in your schoolwork, but shame on you because you probably needed those those lessons that you were avoiding in class. So anyways, happy to get this in the collection, and it gets me a little bit closer to a full Game Fan set. I think I'm down to 2 or 3 issues left of the main run of the magazine, and that'll get me to where I need to be. So with that said, that's really all the stuff I got this month. I've actually been doing a little bit of reverse pickups going on. I've been selling a few things that I'm just finding around the house with all the extra time at home. Really nothing crucial to my collection, but noticing that I have a lot of games where maybe I have a port for one system, but then I have the same game on a Arcade Perfect compilation for another system, and I just don't really need the duplication in my collection. So not really doing a fire sale or anything like that, but just making a little extra cash on the side because you never know when we may need it, and also just have some extra spending money for things like that Neo Geo game that were pretty expensive. So that'll probably continue if we're still spending the majority of our month at home in May, and we'll see where it goes. But I have some things coming in the mail still, so there will be some additional things coming for the collection for sure. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please stay safe out there. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And have a great day or night wherever you are. I'll talk to you soon.